And welcome back to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Steve Swat. My guest this segment is Terry Brennand, who is the Senior Governmental Advocate for the Service Employees International Union here in California. Have, what, 700,000 members in the state. You are at ground zero, shall we say, of the big pension debate going on right now. And the critics, say that it takes up, it costs like more than $5 billion a year in terms of our state budget to pay some of these lavish pensions, and that there has to be major systemic reform. How do you respond to all of this?
The first response is we object to the terms lavish. I mean, in context here, the average public employee pension, as a matter of fact, 80% of all the CalPERS pensions last year were below $30,000 a year. I don't know what definition you use of lavish. I hardly consider that lavish.
But there are some who
there are some at the high end that are getting quite a few, but if you combined all the $100,000 plus pensions in this state, it'd be less than 1% of all the retirees. So 99% of the retirees are in the crosshairs here of some folks who want to dramatically change the pension system. Now, having said that, are we open to changes and different concepts? Last year, the state employees negotiated a second tier and higher contributions to their retirement system, doubling them in many instances, that saved the state over $500 million last year alone. They were the single largest contributor to the state, closing the budget gap deficit last year. Proof that collective bargaining does work, despite what some of the backers of these alternative propositions or ideas believe. If you go to the table, you bargain with my members, you will get what we need to balance budgets, because they have the same interests: keeping people employed, keeping government working.
I know a number of unions negotiated with Governor Schwarzenegger and negotiated some reforms, as you just mentioned. Would you like to see that as sort of the model, sort of a union by union collective bargaining, as opposed to clearly a meat axe approach, which could be on the ballot next year?
Absolutely. I mean, our belief is these were collectively bargained benefits. None of them were given to any employees. They were negotiated at the table in each and every instance. We'd like to see any changes to that negotiated at the table. Now, does that mean we couldn't do some statewide pieces on spiking and some of the manipulation at the high end? Absolutely.
Would you like to see that done?
Yeah, we supported 3 bills last year. One that would have placed a cap at the high end at the federal, the IRS 415 limit, one that would have eliminated the ability to spike your pension in the final years, and one that would have dealt with this revolving door double dipping where management retires on Friday, comes back to work on Monday, collects a full paycheck and a full retirement.
One of the big questions that the critics always ask is, should there be 2 different retirement systems, one for private employees and one for public employees?
Well, there already exist 2 different retirement systems in the private sector. There are defined contribution plans. If you look at most of the Fortune 500 companies, they provide a defined benefit program in addition to the defined contribution. So these exist already. I think people understand that for public sector workers, the trade-off is you get paid less for the same amount of work you could do, or exact same work you would do in the private sector. In exchange for that, you get some retirement security and healthcare security, and that's the trade-off.
All right. Well, we're out of time, but Terry Brennand of SEIU, thanks for coming by, talking about your position really on all this pension discussion. It's fascinating. We'll certainly have to watch the progress in the next few months.
Thank you, Steve.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Comcast Newsmakers. We'll see you next time.